Now we're back on the series of videos for the research process, and this is your research in daily life 1. Now, before we move on, let's have a quick look at the 6 steps in the research process. First one is choosing the problem. Next is choosing the research design and methodology, theory and hypothesis, sampling and data collection, data presentation, interpretation and analysis, and lastly, formulating conclusions and recommendations. Now in this video, we're going to focus on step 5, which is data presentation, interpretation, and analysis. So as you can see, we're going to be covering 3 major topics in this step. After the collection of data, now we have to understand the data. And the easiest way to understand it is to present it. And there are different ways in the presentation of data. In quantitative research, we can make use of the tabular form of presentation, or we can use the graphical form. In this way, we can present the data in a simpler and more understandable manner. And on the other hand, for qualitative research, we make use of the narrative and thematic form. Now, in this form, we try to present the data and construct the narrative and the collected data, but we try to avoid misinterpretation. So we have to present it in the way or in the context that was given by the respondents in the study. If the statistical data in quantitative research is presented in tabular or graphical form, in the qualitative research, it is presented as text. Now, the presentation of data is just the beginning. The next part would be interpreting the data. And interpretation means to explain what the data means and how it fits with the study. In this part, we try to show the importance of the data that we collected in trying to come up with the answer to our research question. The knowledge and the ability of the researcher is very important in this part. The researcher must be able to interpret the data as it is and must be able to show how important it is in answering the research question. The last treatment of the data is analysis. So if in this part, you are going to go back to the theory or your hypothesis. So if you're trying to prove a theory, in this part, in the analysis, you can determine whether your theory is correct or not. Or if it is a grounded theory, then the data must be used like a puzzle. The theory that you're establishing would be the puzzle itself, and then the data that you collect would be the puzzle pieces. So if you're able to put them together, then you can establish the theory. Now, if you're trying to prove a hypothesis, then the use of the statistical tools will tell you whether your hypothesis should be accepted or should be rejected. Now, if you accept the null hypothesis, then if that is what the statistical tools show. Now, if you reject the null hypothesis, that means you have to accept the alternative hypothesis. Now, in short, whether that is a theory or a hypothesis, the analysis will tell you whether it is correct and it will answer your research question.